What's up everyone, I'm glad you can make it today on the channel on this Sunday evening. Welcome back to the Road to NBA 2K21 series here on the PlayStation 5 as your New York Knicks continue to turn heads. After starting Season 5 10-17, we're starting to tighten up our lazy defense and have continued to garner chemistry as me, Julius Randle, the rookie Cade Cunningham, and others had trouble adjusting to each other for the first few weeks. And I mean, we're still one of the youngest NBA rosters in the entire league, so there's definitely going to be some growing pains. I think we knew that coming in. But now, after winning 12 out of our last 16, I think we have something special brewing here in the Big Apple this season, as we are a fringe playoff contender all of a sudden. I simulated 2 more games since last episode that further display the magnificent turnaround we've had on defense, only allowing James Harden and the Bulls to shoot 39% on us, and a 106-95 victory as Ferran and Obi Toppin posted 26 points apiece, and then another division win against Philadelphia to make it 2 straight. We opened up the season losing our first 9 games against our Atlantic Division opponents, which is Boston, Toronto, Philadelphia, and Brooklyn. But now we've taken 3 of 4 against the Atlantic, with our last matchup against Brooklyn coming up later in this episode, the last matchup against the Nets here in Season 5 already. Now taking a look at the NBA standings, we saw Deshaun's Dallas Mavericks and Donovan's Portland Trailblazers. They were really fighting it out for that top seed, but ever since the Denver Nuggets and the Clippers became the hottest teams in the NBA, the Portland Trailblazers and the Mavericks have had some troubles fending them off. Meanwhile, we look at the Eastern Conference and Milwaukee, who will be our first opponent this episode, mind you, sports the #1 defense in the NBA and has the best record in the NBA, as they have a mean roster, as you guys will see in just a few short moments as we scroll down here. 8th right now in the Eastern Conference, as you can see here. Last episode, we came in to the previous episode allowing 110 points per game, but that shrunk down to 104 nights. And it really just goes to show you how Tom Thibodeau can really leave his fingerprints all over a team that he's coaching. So back at home, wearing the throwback all-orange jerseys. We wore these back in 2013 when we won 54 games of Carmelo Anthony, so I was waiting for a night to break him out. So against the best NBA team on our home floor, let's see if we can make it 3 straight games in a row with the All-Star Weekend festivities right around the corner. Down 2-0 here. I put the double move on one of the new acquisitions for the Bucks as I kick it out to Cade Cunningham. Fumbled the catch, but he still corralled it and made the 15-foot jump shot, and that just goes to show you the strides we made on offense as well, because I feel like a couple weeks ago, Cade would have let that pass go right out of bounds. He might not have been expecting it, as we see Giannis going up against Julius Randle. We really don't have anybody to cover the Greek Freak, and Giannis is great, don't get me wrong, but this season the Bucks spread out the attack better than anybody else in the NBA. Giannis only averages 20, with 8 players on the Milwaukee Bucks averaging at least 10 points per game, including Dennis Schroeder, one of the new guys they picked up, as I go toe-to-toe with him here. Drop-off pass to Mitch, who will put it through. 10 points a game for Mitchell Robinson. He's still dealing with that broken nose he sustained last episode whenever Kristaps Porzingis gave him a shot to the face in the Mavericks game. And now here we go with Giannis. I try to take the charge on the Greek Freak, but there was just no answers for Giannis tonight, as he steps to the line already with a cool, calm, and pretty decent total from the field. 8 points for him already. But here we go with the skip pass to Ferran out on the break. That one's normally consistent. I'm very surprised Ferran could not knock that one down. He takes 6 threes a game, makes 45% of them. He's pretty much destined to be another all-star season for Ferran, but we might see him in the 3-point contest as well, as Schroeder knocks it down on the break. The Milwaukee Bucks already with a 24-point advantage. They added guys of the likes of course, Dennis Schroeder, as I give this one off to Ferran, and he will not miss the rim this time. They also added Danilo Gallinari, Montrezl Harrell, and Ryan Arcidiacono, so a lot of different moves for the Bucks. Lord knows how they kept it under the cap, but they by far look like the favorites in the NBA here in Season 5. As here we go, we finally force a turnover, and my first jump shot of the ball game goes. I've been looking for some opportunities to score, and I finally get one and take it from 15 feet on the break. Nothing but net there. 1 for 3 so far on the game, and you're really starting to see how stingy this defense is. Look at this drop-off pass, though, out of the jump shots. One of my favorite passes I've thrown in a long time. Julius Randle continues to play well, 13.6 rebounds. Nothing like what he did in the regular season, but still very solid numbers and efficiency from the field for the big fella. 49-28, we force a stop on Giannis's lob attempt. Mitchell Robinson will set it up to me as I have a mismatch. Montrezl Harrell, I go between the legs, take this one all the way with a little Euro step around Dennis Schroeder. A 3-point play to hopefully finally take back some momentum from the NBA's best team, Milwaukee Bucks, as I step to the line. 85% on the season, which if the season ended today would be a career high for me, and that's a far cry from what I was doing to begin this season. I had quite a couple struggles whenever we as a team were struggling from the free throw line. Now this time on the secondary break, I take 2 defenders into the paint with me, leaving the rookie wide open. Cade Cunningham's scoring has slipped a little bit in the recent weeks, only 11.8 points and 5 assists for the rookie, but his efficiency is up above 45% shooting, which, as you guys know, for a long time he was above or below 40%. There's Ferran with, once again, another long bomb from 3, and he's doing that every episode, so I'm not even surprised anymore as Schroeder continues to have a solid game as we trickle down in here into the second half. Schroeder with 11 points. Most of those have not been on me. He's just been very smart in finding his shots whenever I'm away from him, like there on short jump shot on the fast break, and Ferran from the same exact spot as he finished the first half. He will pull from the second half as well. Let's see if we can give the NBA's best team a run for their money here back at home. 8 minutes to go here in the third quarter, 17-point deficit, but Ferran will take matters into his own hands for another triple coming off the double pin down screen. Ferran with another 3. He struggled in the first half, began the game 2 for 7, but as you guys will see in the final box score, he definitely made amends here in the second half, as he's the hottest player on the floor here in the second half of action thus far. And look at this, Giannis, come on, you gotta call him for 3 in the key. That's 7 in the key. And Julius Randle, already struggling enough against the Greek Freak, he allows a 3-point play, and as we trickle things down to 2.5 minutes to go in the third, Milwaukee has started to break things wide open, 95-69. Not much more left we can do. We just don't have the firepower to keep up with Milwaukee, but I tip the pass back out to the perimeter by Chris Middleton. Just because we're getting blown out does not mean I can still not make some noise as I pass that one down over the double team. Julius Randle with a 3-point play left unattended in the short corner. That's assist number 11, and it was another tough assist. Even the baskets that we do manage to score this game, they have been very tough to get to my teammates, though. 11 assists, though, another nice total for me in that category, and the double move on Montrezl Harrell will give me yet another double-double on the season, like clockwork every single day, leaving my mark on each game. 104-82, though, running out of time if we want to make things competitive. Giannis now getting guarded by Mitch as finally we force a stop on the Greek Freak. Mitchell Robinson sends it back, and then the highlight of the entire ball game, regardless of what the scoreboard says, Ferran goes aerial, and if he was a little bit to the left, he might have cleared Chris Middleton, all 6'7" of him, if he was just a little bit to the left. But I cannot believe the vertical from Ferran sometimes. He can rise up with some of the best in the NBA as his eyes were at the rim. Unreal athleticism for my hometown buddy. Another assist for him as he enjoys the second half. That definitely shouldn't take away from the performance we've had as a team, unfortunately, but another turnover is forced. And now how about something we've never seen on the road to NBA 2K21? I would lie and say I did that on purpose, but I'm sure you saw Cade streaking up the right flank. I did want to lob him, but my player, he's thrown so many assists in his career, I guess he decided to throw one to himself off the backboard. But 116-97, we take this one on the chin for sure. This one brings us back down to earth a little bit after how well we've been playing. Ferran with 30 points, I believe 24 of those came in the second half, and I finished the game with 17, 7, and 13, continuing to play very good basketball here despite the loss. As we all know, All-Star Weekend is coming up within the next few weeks, and by the end of the episode, we will be at All-Star Weekend, and that will be next episode's thesis will be all around the All-Star Weekend festivities. And with the team starting to play a lot better, I can finally focus on improving my own game and my own stats to hopefully try to make it 2 straight All-Star appearances. We head back to simulation with 2 more huge wins against Atlantic Division opponents. A 9-point win on the road, 26-10 against the stingy Boston Celtics with Jason Tatum, who for a while was leading the NBA in points per game, but he only had 17 in that one, and that's quickly been changed by Jamal Murray, who averages 26 a game. And then 107-105. Every game against Philadelphia has been a close one. 13-10 and 4 steals, and then we take another one on the chin to Toronto, but then we blow out 2 teams on a West Coast trip. First was Los Angeles, and then we head back home actually against the Suns. 19, 8, and 15, continuing to put up huge numbers. And Ferran against his favorite team, the Phoenix Suns, 32 for my hometown buddy, and I held Chris Paul, the seasoned veteran, only 10 and 4. And then against Atlanta, against a former teammate, I held Trae Young to 19 and 8, only 1 3-pointer made, but it was not enough, as Trae Young had a pretty decent game, but I did a good job on defense. And of course, Drew Holiday has made his way to Atlanta. We traded him on draft night to the Hawks a couple seasons ago, but he gets the last laugh here tonight as he had a pretty decent performance. So our last game against the Brooklyn Nets, our last Big Apple showdown here. 16.5 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds, going up against Kyrie Irving in what could be a statement game, as Irving also is anxious to make another All-Star selection. He's been there many times before, but 21.5 points for Kyrie Irving along with his 7 assists. Going to be a tough matchup tonight on the road, as Ferran will pull again another logo distance 3-pointer for my man Ferran, as he gets us on the board with some fireworks in the last New York City showdown of Season 5. Here we go with Cade Cunningham off the pick and roll as he continues to play at a very high level. Like I said, it's all about shot selection. You're really seeing the chemistry come around. A lot of looks are very close to the basket for Cade, and whenever he takes a 3, he's now wide open instead of contested like it was to begin the season for the rookie. So we get a stop here, and I'm now leaking open to the corner. I'm taking a 3 now, and I'm stepping up and knocking one down. I've been a little cold from 3 recently. My percentage on the season is around 32-33% from 3, as here comes Durant trying to break the cold spell. No good there. 13-4, all Knicks thus far, and it will continue. Trapping Jordan down low. Mitchell Robinson still going toe-to-toe with the physical Jordan with that broken nose, and now I put some moves on Kyrie Irving, drawing another defender, which is Durant, and Julius Randle leaks open. 3 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists within the first 3 minutes of this ball game. A very impactful couple minutes I've played thus far, leading us to a very important couple minutes to begin this game against the Brooklyn Nets, and I put a Kyrie Irving-esque move on Kyrie Irving himself. Look at this. I got him all twisted around with a move he's put on Stephen Curry. I know you've all seen the highlight whenever he was back on the Celtics. I know you guys have seen him put that move on Steph, so I put it on Kyrie on the pick and roll. Had him all twisted around. So now it's 5 points for me in the ball game as Kyrie tries to get busy with Mitchell Robinson. I don't know how I didn't pick that pass off. I was definitely in the passing lane, and Brooklyn with one of the better entire offensive attacks in the NBA. They allow one of the most high point totals, but with this potent offense, number 1 in 3-pointers made right now in the Eastern Conference, you cannot let off your guard, let off the gas for 1 second, as all of a sudden they flip a switch. And they're up by 9 going into the second quarter, as now, thanks to Julius Randle, he gives me another possession there to take it on DeAndre Jordan. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, make that 5 assists now as we cut it down to 8. Karis LeVert looking for the backdoor feed to Kevin Durant, and he finds him there. 39-29, already 20 points for Durant, and it's really all about finding an answer for him right now on Brooklyn's side of things, as I give the little dribble handoff to Cade Cunningham, and a very confident shot over Robert Covington for the rookie. There's another assist with 10 points now after I make another basket. And even though our improved play as a team, there's still times like this where we just can't get a stop on defense, as the double move works with Kyrie draped all over me, continuing my potent first half performance. But yeah, like I was saying, there's just times like this where we can't get stops, and the early season Knicks comes out a little bit in little short spurts, and that kind of worries me whenever playoff time comes around if we're a playoff team. But we just got to continue to do what we can on the offensive end. The offense has not been in question, as now look at this with a skip pass over the double team. Another feed to another teammate. Ferran cuts it from 6 to 3 with 1 flick of the wrist and right back in it. And before I get checked out, I force Kyrie into another turnover, pressuring him in at the timeline, and he will go back court. So another turnover is forced, and we're able to cut it down to 4 before the intermission occurs. But the name of the game today has been stopping that man right there, Kevin Durant, with 20 halftime points. Let's jump in and let's take care of the second half of action, and this is going to turn into a good one. Just wait for it, boys. We got to toe in and try to knock down the Brooklyn Nets, who are also trying to fight for a playoff spot as well. They're a little under expectations, so they got something to prove here around All-Star Weekend time. Kyrie, he hits a three-pointer there to go from 6 points to 9, and then Kevin Durant making it back-to-back triples, and Brooklyn will not stop there. Robert Covington gets on the scoreboard as well. 63-52, we're letting things slip again. Brooklyn attempts the most three-pointers in the entire NBA as well. But here we go with a block shot on Durant. It's tipped around into the arms of Mitch with the outlet pass to me. We got mad numbers on the break. It's tipped around, but I get it back. And in one of the most sloppy fast break possessions you'll ever see, somehow we still manage a three-point play to Ferran. Gives me another assist. Tom Thibodeau likes what he sees. And look at this block right here. You be the judge. Did I get a piece of Durant's? To be fair, I think I hacked him, but I didn't hear a whistle, so I kept playing, and it goes into the box score as a block shot, so I will definitely take that. 10-point game. Not often you can say that you blocked a shot against Kevin Durant, especially when you're my stature. And off of the pick and roll, the Brooklyn Nets continuing to switch all matchups off of a pick, so I continue to do some damage. Look at that pull-up, jump shot, double move on DeAndre Jordan. I continue to enjoy a very good day, trying to prove myself against Kyrie Irving, and then another pass is tipped. I'm leaking out, and Robert Covington can't catch up to me. Another positive play. Everything I do in this game has been positive, and I'm just enjoying it. And the fans are enjoying the show here in the NYC Showdown. 77 apiece as we are approaching 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter rather. Little dribble handoff between me and Kyrie Irving. Bump from behind. Almost a three-point play on that possession. Kyrie Irving caught napping a little bit there. And as I stepped to the line, something occurred that, I was expecting to see after a while. We've had some pretty legendary matchups against the Nets this season already, and Rocco, he does not like us very much. You can tell, stealing the high five with me and my teammate Obi Toppin. More bad blood ensues. We've had a couple of pretty good rivalries starting to manifest this season. We got Brooklyn, Dallas with that physical game last episode, and the 76ers have had some very good defensive matchups against the guys over in the city of brotherly love. But no, a backdoor feed. Ferran finds me there. 20 points before we even hit the fourth quarter, along with my 8 assists. I'm on triple-double watch. Only 4 more rebounds to go and 2 assists. You guys already know I'm going to get those assists. So, up by 2, DeAndre Jordan misses the free throw, and with 2 seconds left, me and Ferran play a little hot potato here at the end of the third quarter, and he's spotting up on the right flank. And it's done like clockwork once again. Another assist to Ferran. Look at this back and forth. Karis LeVert and Kyrie Irving had no idea where the ball was going. And Ferran makes it look easy, turning his back on his idol, his favorite player growing up, Kyrie Irving. And he makes the seasoned veteran look silly there. Throwing his arms up, pointing to the crowd. He's enjoying the show, and so are the fans as we hop to the fourth quarter. And beginning this fourth quarter with the way we close the third quarter, you can see that the confidence right now on the offensive end is at an all-time high. Behind the back pass with my offhand, and Ferran says, "You want to get fancy? Hey buddy, I can get fancy too." I twirled the pass to him on the perimeter, and he twirls around the rim with a 360 dunk over Karis LeVert's. Ferran has been red hot, and it continues in one of the bigger games here. Coming up, approaching an All-Star weekend, this schedule gets really tough. Closing in on All-Star Weekend, a lot of the better teams were playing here down the stretch until we finally get that break around All-Star Weekend. As I feed Mitchell Robinson, they continue to switch all the pick and rolls, so it's making it really easy. And here we go with Ferran to the rim again, extending the lead, and it's been all New York Knicks here in the fourth quarter. We're not only beating the Nets, and not only are we pulling away from them, but we are embarrassing Brooklyn on their home floor here in the fourth quarter, and it will continue. Here we go with Cade Cunningham, backdoor feed. Everyone's feeling themselves here down the stretch, and the lead is 9, the biggest of the ball game for the Knicks at this point. And Ferran wants to return the favor once again. He'll feed me an assist as I run Karis LeVert off of Robinson. He was posting up at the free throw line. There's another basket. 26-12. What a statement this has been, as Durant will dunk one down there, but only 9 second half points for Durant. 107-95 as we beat the full court man-to-man press by Brooklyn in only a few passes, and then a tough layup. Don't let the wide open coverage fool you. That one was a very tough layup, but good body control there against Kyrie Irving, as I do reach 30 points here against Kyrie, trying to prove myself and perhaps beat him out for one of the last spots in the All-Star game for the guards in the NBA. 111-99. More importantly, we destroy and embarrass Brooklyn here in the fourth quarter, pulling away against another team who's fighting for a playoff spot and another player who's fighting for an All-Star selection. And like I said, with the schedule becoming pretty brutal for us down the stretch before All-Star weekend, every win is a big win, especially in a game like this. You got to pull out ones like this. And we take care of business against another rival that's starting to form here in Season 5. And with the 2 games we won in simulation against Boston and Philadelphia, and now another win against Brooklyn, that is 4 straight wins against Atlantic Division opponents after starting out 0-9 against them. So very good strides, defeating our closest enemies. And then we drop one here against Charlotte, a close game that we cannot pull out, but 22-16. As I continue to play my best basketball of the season at the right time. And this was a huge performance again, so let's sit by the TV. That was the last game before the All-Star teams were announced. Let's watch the draft. So Team Luka versus Team Giannis. Those are the captains for this season's All-Star games. It's going to be a little weird not seeing LeBron here. Of course, he retired last offseason, so Luka picks a starting 5 of KD, Jason Tatum, Paul George, and Karl Anthony Towns, with his 6th man being the NBA's top scorer, Jamal Murray. And we also have Ben Simmons off the bench, and Ferran makes it. There's All-Star selection number 4 for him in his career. 22 points, 4 assists, an NBA leading 2.5 steals per game, along with 45% from the 3-point line. And something tells me that it's not going to be just the All-Star game we see him in. Looks like Ferran may be a 3-point shooter as well in that contest. So Deshaun also joins him on Team Luka. Last time we checked in on Deshaun, he was only shooting around 47% from the field, but his efficiency and scoring continues to go up. DeAndre Ayton and Bradley Beal round out Team Luka. So here we go. Watching very anxiously, Team Giannis has a starting 5 of Harden, who's on the Bulls now, Damian Lillard, Nikola Jokic, and Trae Young. They round out Team Giannis. So we move down, we got Steph Curry as their 6th man. Here we go with Donovan Gray, no surprise there. He's been putting together possibly his best season in an NBA uniform. He was above 20 points per game, but with Portland struggles as a team, they're only 4th in the West all of a sudden after being the best team in the West for a while. You've seen it's kind of rubbing off on him too. His points are down from 22 to 19. Nonetheless, he makes the All-Star game. Kyrie, Bam, and I'm joining Donovan here on Team Giannis for my 2nd All-Star game here in Season 5. Here we go with 16.5 points, 11 assists, down an entire point and half of an assist from a season ago. And something interesting that I noticed was I was actually the last selection on my All-Star team last season. But this year, even with worse stats, I made it with some room to spare. As we scroll down, 2 other players were drafted after me, so I did find that very interesting. Brandon Ingram and DeMar DeRozan, who finds himself on the OKC Thunder. They will round out Team Giannis. And something else that works out very well is, of course, you guys all know I'm playing with Ferran this year. Played with Deshaun back in college at Texas. And I've never really played with Donovan here in this series except back in high school. So I finally have an opportunity for Donovan to be a teammate, albeit only 1 game. But as we see here, I continue my very hot play, a huge win against Detroit. And even better news, Mitchell Robinson's broken nose has fully healed from Kristaps' shot to the face last episode. He's been playing with that for the last couple weeks. Still playing very good basketball as Mitch, as we are now still above 500, continuing to play very well, up to 7th in the Eastern Conference as we host Aaron Catley and the Memphis Grizzlies. Of course, my college teammate Catley won a national championship with him back in college, and I was very close to winning an NBA title with him twice on the Pelicans. But here we go, we're both in different cities, and that's kind of just how the NBA life works somehow. After all of the turmoil and drama that transpired last offseason with the Pelicans, we're both in different cities, and now we kind of got to act like we're strangers to each other. That's just kind of how the NBA life is sometimes, as I begin things against John Morant, going with my strong side hand on the left side. Nice layup there off the double move. 11-8 game now here, hosting the Grizzlies on our home floor as Ferran pops out for another logo distance three. He continues to get some early reps for his three-point contest shootouts, tying it up at 11. But I can kind of start to see a bit of a rivalry maybe fusing between Ferran and Aaron Catley. They were going back and forth all game long, really, as Aaron Catley enjoys his best career season here in Memphis. I think the new jerseys and new surroundings are really fitting him well, as he is third on the team in scoring, 16.5 points per game for my former teammates. There we go with Ferran, though, with the answer right back at Catley. 19 of 14, though. Memphis having a very successful first quarter. Here we go with Dillon Brooks. He's open, but I close out. I help out Cade Cunningham a little bit there as we run the break a little bit. Bounce pass, Cade Cunningham switching hands in midair. And a nice kiss off the window. Cade Cunningham continuing to look more confident with each passing week. And now we jump to the second quarter. Already up 13 is the Grizzlies. Step back jumper for Cade, no good, but I'm there to collect a very rare offensive rebound and put back. And I soared up over Aaron Catley to grab that rebound, threw up the pump, had him jumping, and I put it through for some second chance points. A pretty funny sight there to see me and Aaron Catley fighting on the glass after sharing the court with him for so long. But Ja Morant, he definitely did embarrass me a couple times this game, and that dunk there was probably the nastiest out of all of the ones he had this game. And as I hit the bench unit isn't doing us too many favors. 65-42, all Memphis here in the first half, and this is just another one of those games where I was talking about earlier. Obviously, a very frustrating performance as Mitchell Robinson blocks the first possession here for Memphis. They get it. Here, look at this. They get it out of bounds with 6 seconds to go on the shot clock, and I'm pressuring Ja Morant, almost get the steal, but somehow, someway, Morant blows by me like I'm not even there, and he'll dunk another one down. And that kind of summed up this entire beginning of the second half. It just seems like this is one of those times where we cannot catch a break, as Ja Morant will hit Aaron Catley for another three-pointer. That silky smooth jump shot is nobody but Aaron Catley. I can recognize that form anywhere. 70-43, Memphis continuing to pull away and opening up this game. Jaren Jackson Jr. somehow finding his way wide open with the quick trigger finger. And then on this play, I find Ferran wide open for his best look all night long. No good there, and somehow, someway, here we go with Dillon Brooks. I don't pick that pass off, and I don't know how. And Ja Morant, even with a hand in his face, perfect closeout, still knocks it down. Memphis opens up the half with a huge run, and the momentum would carry them to a huge performance. I'll let the last couple plays of this game, ride out while I talk about our team a little bit. We're still one of the youngest teams in the NBA. There's still going to be growing pains from here and there despite our better performances. And there's just been times where we just can't get a stop on defense. We had one of the worst defenses in the NBA for a while. That's starting to turn a little bit. We're starting to flip the script on it a little bit. Not only averaging around 103 allowed a night to opposing offenses, but there's still been performances like this where we just can't catch a break on offense or defense, and our shot selection becomes very poor, and that can tell with Ferran's tough night from the floor and my a little bit invisible night from the floor. 11 and 11, but I really didn't leave too much of an impact on this one. Cade Cunningham struggled for a while, and he was actually our top scorer, so that goes to show you just how ugly of an offensive night it was for us. And Ja Morant posted 30. Aaron Catley had 16 and 5 in a rematch against my former teammate. So I've talked about our vaunted schedule here as things become very challenging here up until the All-Star break. You've seen a couple of the teams. We had to face the Hawks, the Nets, the Celtics, and then we close it against the best teams from the East and West respectively. Milwaukee at home, the Clippers at home, and then the 76ers, who, keep in mind, every game against Philadelphia has been decided within 10 points. So we try to keep our winning streak against our Atlantic opponents on with a win against Philadelphia, hopefully before All-Star break. So next episode, we're going to recap those 3 games, probably only going to jump into the 76ers one, as we now sit at 7th in the NBA Eastern Conference, 2 games above 500. And yeah, it should be a pretty interesting way to close out the first half of the season. As I jump into the 76ers game, we're going to sit in and watch Ferran, cheer him on in the 3-point shootout, and then of course hop in to the All-Star game itself. As you see here, the Clippers and Nuggets, two of the hottest teams in the NBA, as the Blazers now fall to 6th in the Western Conference, starting to struggle here, losing the last 4 games, and the Mavericks have been demoted to the 3 seed. So unless Dallas or Portland wants to make some noise, it could be a pretty disappointing season for Deshaun and Donovan out there in the Western Conference. So a very successful episode again. Don't let the 2 blowouts fool you. We had a couple big wins in simulation and continue to look very good as a team. Finally above 500 and with a playoff berth. We control our own destiny from here on out. I'm ready to enjoy a fun episode next time. All-Star Weekend coming at you here on the channel, here on College Sports Revived, and I'm signing out. Thanks for joining me today.